Viola and Anthony, the two of you look fantastic. How are you
Thank you.
today?
Good.
Thank you. Doing well. How about yourself?
Good, good. So happy to chat with the two of you. I thought this movie was awesome, okay? You guys play the most badass parents of all time. And my favorite part is when one of the kids says, "Mom, watch out," and Danielle, without even looking back, just hits the guy in the face with the elbow. I absolutely loved that. And I'm wondering, Danielle and Derek, they're both so passionate about protecting themselves, but it's really just about trying to get the family back together and fight for their children. So I'm wondering, as parents in your real lives, how does that factor into making a movie like this and tapping into those passions of the characters? Viola, how does that work for you being a mom in real life?
Well, I understood her juggling and not succeeding. I'm sorry, there is no way to balance. I have tried. You know what? I'm still trying. I'm still trying at that perfectionism. I'm still trying to even do it beautifully. But I always say that if there was a pill that you could take to eradicate mom guilt and it was addictive, I would take the pill. I would. I mean, I just would. So that's what I injected Danielle Sutton with. That sort of grace and forgiveness you have to give yourself as a woman, of knowing perfectionism is just that sort of image that you want to put out there for everybody else. But with yourself, you have to understand that you're just not going to be perfect. That if you can bond and love your child, I think, and do the best you can, and show them that mom is out there working, mom is out there improving herself, mom is out there making her dreams matter, then I think that's the gig.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, you put that beautifully. Anthony, how does being a parent to two beautiful kids, how does that kind of, factor into this role?
It allowed me to draw on a lot of things as a father, as a husband, as a protector, as a provider, but in this particular role, as a nurturer.
Yes.
My wife is out running the world, and I'm left. I shouldn't say left, but it's my responsibility to nurture our children and run our home, and to be there to support her in a way that we normally see it conversely. So coming in, the scene that I was really interested in shooting was when I came across to rescue my children, and I come to their hotel room just to make sure they're all right. And the terrorists are already there. And now I really had to show what this meant to be a father and a protector in front of my children, to let them know that, okay, I may have been away for a second, but I was on my way here to do this for you.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's what I was really looking forward to, because I got to show my machismo as a man and as a father, and the things that I would do.
And it was a badass moment.
Yeah.
Oh, heck yeah, it was a badass moment. Well, I would chat with the two of you all day. They are giving me the rap. Viola, I have to say, Widows is one of my favorite films, and I would love to see a sequel. I want Veronica and all of the girls back together at some
Oh.
point. It's one of my favorite films, of course. We have to do it. Get Steve McQueen on board.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you both so much for your time today. I appreciate you both.
All right,
Thank
thank you.
you.
Have a great day.
Hi, Anthony. How
Um,
are you?
I'm great, thanks, Lauren. How are you?
Good. I love, first of all, congratulations on this film, and I love how much you love dogs. I just got home from a trip.
I figured that wasn't an accident that you're
It
sitting with
wasn't
me.
an accident. Yes, I would say hi to Maxine and Ollie for me.
I'm actually up in Toronto now. That's why we're doing this, like doing a lot of virtual press. But I will, I'll send it into the ether, and I'm sure they'll receive it.
Awesome. Well, like I said, congratulations on this film. Huge fan
Thank
of
you.
the boys as well, and I've been wanting to chat with you for so long. I'm honestly wondering, as your character Rutledge in this film, you had so much intense fight choreography and
Mm.
gun scenes. What's been the hardest fight choreography for you to master so far in your career as an actor?
Ooh, choreography to master. I think I think initially I did a show called Banshee, and that had really, as the seasons went on, it had a lot of really long, lengthy fights. You
Right.
know, there was up to 100 moves, 100 move fights,
Hmm.
which is, 5 minutes on screen. So it was pretty brutal. But what happens is it becomes like dancing almost. It's like you learn how to dance because
Mm.
it's so carefully choreographed and figured out. So it's almost like learning a language. Once you start learning the basics of a language, you can move around it a little bit. And then that really, the 4 years I did that really gave me quite a good grounding in action in general. So it
Oh.
actually translates really well now. When I get something like G20, I go in and I can pick things up pretty quick because I had a good little boot camp for 4 years on Banshee.
Yeah, how does something like wearing the body armor in G20 and having to like use all of the weapons that Rutledge uses, how does that kind of affect your movement when you're moving around and
Yeah,
doing all the scenes?
not too much. We actually stripped that down. There was a lot of gack on the body armor at first, and then we just simplified everything down and said it looks better and it's more functional and more practical and with less on it. And frankly, that stuff is actually great when you're doing stunts because you can hold it if you need. Like Viola had the body armor on, and I threw her over a desk. I
Yeah.
could use it to pull her, and so it can actually, you utilize whatever you've got. When you're doing these scenes, when you're creating the choreography. And it actually also allows space for back pads and things like that. So I actually quite liked it. I quite
Yeah.
like having that armor on there. As far as the weapons, um, I've done a lot of stuff with guns, so guns are not a huge problem. But the little karambit knife, that wasn't meant was it was meant there was meant to just be a kitchen knife. And I said, no, I think the character should have like a quite a specialized knife. And then started looking at knives, and I came across this little curved blade knife called karambit. And I think it's an Indonesian knife originally, but they are not, there's only one thing they're for.
Right.
They're quite evil little things when you hold one. They're really specific. They're very use specific. Uh,
Wow.
and so I suggested that we did that. Now the problem, of course, is like shooting someone in a movie in terms of what you have to do is much easier than stabbing someone.
Yeah.
So I wanted to kill everyone with a knife
Yeah.
through the movie. I wanted every time I had a fight, I wanted the knife to come out. And we did get to use it a little bit, but so we did a bunch of knife training with that,
That's
just
cool.
twirling it around because they have a little lock, a lock that goes around your index finger, so that you can hold it. And it's a savage little tool. So I love that we kept it in.
That's awesome. That was definitely an important part of his character. Well, Anthony, they are wrapping me. I would love
Oh
to see
God, that was quick.
I know it was so quick, only 4 minutes. I
Yeah,
would love to see Homelander and Rutledge pair up in a film. I don't know if Homelander would like deal with him,
I
but
just think that just shows impeccable taste on your part. It was funny actually. Just the last thing is like I get off the boys and I come on here with brown hair.
yeah.
First thing that happens, we want you to be blonde. You're
Yeah.
kidding. Oh,
Yeah,
anyway,
that's right, 'cause you were blonde in this.
blondes have more fun apparently. So
Well, pff, obviously,
I
yes.
said it for a reason.
Yes, well, so much fun to chat with you, and I'm so
Okay.
excited for audiences and fans to see your performance in G20. Like, you're the
Thanks,
ultimate
Laura.
villain. So it was such a
Thank
fun
you
watch.
very
So
much.
thank you so much for your time and
Appreciate you.
appreciate everything you're doing for the displaced dogs from the Los Angeles fires too.
Me too. Yeah, I prefer dogs to humans. So
Yeah. Oh, I
hello to you.
don't disagree. Thank
All
you
right.
so much.
Thank you, love.
Hi, Ramon. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you, Lauren?
Good, good. You look fantastic. Congratulations on this film. I had so much fun with it. I love how your character, Agent Manny, was so dedicated to President Danielle. You and Viola had such great fun chemistry. I'm honestly curious what the two of you did to build that chemistry prior to filming and while on set.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed and picked up on that. I mean, there was a lot that was already on the page, which was great. You know, you get a sense that these people had, served in the military together. They were in war together, and so that already built kind of a rapport on the page. For Viola and I, there's nothing that gets you closer and help build chemistry than rolling on the mat doing jujitsu together, physically sweating and in your gi and going crazy on the ground. And so we got to do a lot of training together, and that was a really great way to just immediately get the intimacy going of us being close proximity and learning together. I don't know jujitsu, and neither did she, and so we got to kind of learn something together, and it was really fun. And she's just a wonderfully generous, gracious person, and so that immediately disarms and just creates a really fun, creative environment. And yeah, so then it just became about that. And on the day, I just wanted to continue to show, like you said, his dedication, how much this man was committed to having her back and protecting her and keeping her alive, because that was his number one priority.
For sure. And I do love the scene where she tosses the oxygen tank your way and you shoot it and like all the smoke goes everywhere. And that's obviously when, the terrorists are kind of coming in there. It's a very important scene in the film.
Yeah.
How many times did you have to do that stunt choreography? How many times did you guys have to film that sequence?
That specific sequence actually wasn't that bad. The more challenging one for sure was the elevator fight scene. There was an elevator fight scene where she falls through and then Manny goes in and tries to protect her. That was really tough. I mean, it's an elevator, so it's tight quarters. On top of that, it's not only Viola and I fighting 3 guys, I think it was. Then you have cameramen, operating cameras in there. It was really, a tight space, but we had an incredible stunt team and we had really a lot of time, which was great to prep and train. They do these pre-vises where you can actually see the choreography. And then, when we got in the space and had to shoot it, it was really, you could tell the buzz started happening, that people could feel this was going to be a special fight sequence in that elevator.
Oh, yeah. No, the elevator fight scene and the kitchen fight scene.
And the kitchen was the other one. Exactly. That was another big one.
The kitchen one was they were 2 amazing action sequences. Yeah. Well, I'm wondering if Special Agent Will Trent and Agent Manny Ruiz, if they had to team up and defend, President Danielle, do you think the 2 of them would get along?
I think they would. I really do, because there are some kind of parallels there. They're both incredibly loyal. Will Trent is so loyal. Once you're in, you're in. And I found that Manny was as well. He takes his job very serious. Maybe the only difference and maybe the only thing that Manny would have to accept was that Will Trent was going to bring Betty.
I was going to say, we have to have Betty. We have to have the dog along.
Yeah, so I don't know how you protect the president and Betty, at the same time, but maybe Will Trent or Manny would figure it out.
Oh, they'll definitely make it work.
Yeah.
Well, they are giving me the wrap, Ramon. It was so fun to chat with you, and I'm so excited for audiences and fans to see G20. You were awesome in it.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Patricia, congratulations on this film. I love it when a woman gets behind the camera and directs an amazing action film. So first of all, congratulations to you.
Thank you so much, Lauren. I'm very excited.
Yes, I'm so excited for audiences and fans to see this film. I have to talk about that elevator fight scene with Viola and Ramon, because it was easily one of the best scenes in the film, along with the kitchen fight scene. But I was just chatting with Ramon about it, and he was saying that was kind of challenging to film because you are in the confines of an elevator. So how long did it take you to film that sequence? And take me back to set that day.
Yeah, and just imagine, something that we forget is that in that elevator, there's also 2 cameramen standing in there with cameras, with big lenses and focus pullers and everybody, at the same time. So I also had a camera up above, looking down. It was super challenging, especially because we got shut down in the middle of it. It was when the actor strike began. So we were in the middle of shooting it, and, we all said our goodbyes. I did a second day of shooting with my stunt performers, and then we came back 4 months later to finish it. So
oh my gosh.
I know, but it's a super fun scene. I was very pleased with it. It was actually my first action scene in the movie that I shot. First time with Viola and everything.
Oh my God, it looked amazing. Well, yeah, I'm also curious about of course, Viola's iconic red dress that just keeps getting ripped and shorter throughout the progress of the film. How many dresses did you have to do, and how did you guys decide on that red dress with the cape? Because it's pretty much what she's wearing for 85% of the movie.
Exactly. And, for me, it was very important that I tracked, how the dress was going to be changing through 2 hours of movie, all the way to designing her commando outfit, with a little bit of red still sticking out. And where's she going to take, I can't have her in the helicopter with the wind and everything with a dress flowing. I need to give her pants. Okay, let's kill a guy and let's get the pants. And how do I phrase it so we don't think she's stealing the pants from a dead body, Everything was so tricky to get her to that place. But I'm very pleased with the result. The other thing is it's very tricky to send buy things in Cape Town. Imagine buying hundreds of meters of clothes, to build all the dresses that we needed. So our costume designer bought everything in Spain and send it there really beforehand. So it was a quick decision that the cloth that we were, it's not cloth, the word, that we were gonna use for the dress, independent of the design, because if we didn't send it months ahead, it wouldn't get there on time. So it was the most stressful thing to get this dress in shape, but I think he did a wonderful job.
Oh, he did a wonderful job, and it looked amazing. And I know as a director, the continuity of that is difficult as well, but you absolutely pulled it off. Patricia, they are giving me the wrap. I would chat with you all day about this film, but congratulations again, and I'm so excited for audiences to see G20.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I love that your 2 questions were amazing. Thank you so much.
Amazing. I'm happy to please. Thank you, Patricia. Bye.
Bye.